Ever wonder why some people just seem to nail their goals, while others are, well, stuck? Turns out even a simple plan can be huge. Get this. Researchers in Britain found that if people wrote down when and where they'd exercise, they were twice as likely to actually do it.
Like our brains are wired for a clear roadmap.
Totally. And that's what we're diving into today, right? James Clear's Atomic Habits. How those small tweaks can lead to some pretty remarkable results.
Yeah, it's wild how much of our behavior we think is like conscious choice when really it's these subtle systems kind of running the show behind the scenes.
We're basically creatures of habit running on autopilot more than we realize.
Right.
But the cool thing is, Atomic Habits is like this awesome playbook for understanding and upgrading those habits.
Yeah, think of it like giving your brain's operating system a total upgrade. And one of the things Claire talks about that really blew my mind was this idea of the plateau of latent potential.
Okay, hit me with it.
Imagine an ice cube, right?
Okay.
You can blast it with heat, but nothing seems to happen until you hit that 32 degrees and boom, melting.
Oh, I like that visual.
Yeah.
It's like those times you're wrestling with learning a new skill, like coding or an instrument. You're banging your head against the wall and then suddenly click. Something clicks and you break through.
It's like all your efforts were adding up, even when you couldn't see the results yet.
It's like that saying, right? Overnight success usually takes 10 years.
Exactly.
It's those small, consistent things, the 1% better every day, that really get you there.
And that actually connects to something really interesting Clear says about identity. He says real behavior change isn't just forming habits, it's about changing who you believe you are deep down.
Whoa, now that's a powerful idea.
Yeah.
So it's not just about doing the habit, it's about becoming the kind of person who just lives that habit naturally.
Right. One of my favorite quotes from the book is, every action you take is a vote for the type of person you wish to become.
I love that.
Think about it. If you're always choosing healthy meals, you're casting a vote for being a healthy person. Write every day, even a little, you're becoming a writer.
It's like building your future self, one little habit at a time.
Exactly.
So how do we actually go from thinking about it to doing it? I know Clear breaks down habit formation into 4 stages, right? Cue, craving, response, and reward.
And understanding those stages is like the key to making those habits stick.
Okay, so walk me through it.
All right, so first we have the cue. That's basically the trigger for your habit, right? And Clear says we got to make it obvious.
So no more relying on just willpower or motivation then.
Yeah.
We need to set ourselves up to win from the get-go.
Exactly. And one of the best ways to do that is by using something Clear calls implementation intentions.
Okay, now you're just using big words to sound smart. What are implementation intentions?
I know, right? Sounds complicated, but it's really not. It's just deciding beforehand exactly when and where you'll do your habit.
Oh, okay.
So instead of I'll meditate more, you say I'll meditate for 5 minutes at 7 a.m. in my living room.
So you're taking out the decision fatigue. No more debating with yourself every morning. It's already decided. I love it. No more relying on that morning willpower, which leads us to craving. How do we make those healthy habits seem, more appealing, especially when the other options are calling our name?
This is where Clear talks about the power of what he calls reframing. It's not about depriving yourself. It's about focusing on what you gain.
Ooh, reframing. I am all about that. I used to hate grocery shopping, but then I started thinking of it like I'm stocking up on good food for the week. Total game changer. What are some other ways we can use that craving thing to our advantage?
Instead of, I have to go to the gym, it's, yes, I get to move my body, maybe relieve some stress, get strong. You're connecting that habit to a feeling you actually want.
Okay, so it's about choosing to feel empowered instead of being obligated. I can get behind that. But even with the best intentions, sometimes just starting is the hardest part. You know, how do we get over that hump, that response stage?
2 words. The 2-minute rule. Clear is all about it. It's so simple, but so smart. Basically, you break down any habit into a version that takes, you guessed it, 2 minutes or less.
2 minutes. Okay, I'm listening.
So say you want to write a novel, right? Don't pressure yourself to bang out a whole chapter. Just tell yourself, I'm going to open my laptop and write 1 sentence. Or instead of a 30-minute workout, focus on just putting on your gym shoes.
Seriously.
That's
it. Because often, the hardest part, just start. Once you're in motion, it's like that saying, will begun is half done, right?
Exactly. And then the last stage, reward. This is key. For a habit to really stick, it needs to feel good.
Right. Our brains love those little dopamine hits. So how do we make those rewards work for us?
One way Clear talks about is visual tracking. Actually seeing your progress, like marking an X on a calendar, using a habit tracking app, even just making a list of what you accomplished, it all triggers that sense of reward.
I am such a visual person, so I get it's like you're turning those little wins into something you can actually see.
Right. And if you want to kick it up a notch, Clear suggests using something he calls commitment devices.
Commitment devices. You're messing with me again with these names, right? What even?
It sounds fancy, but it's just a way to make it harder for yourself to not do the habit. Like, tell a friend about your goal and have them hold you accountable. Or if you're trying to work out more, put your gym clothes by the door the night before.
So you're removing those escape routes for yourself? I love it. It's all about setting yourself up for success. Okay, let's do like a mini recap because this is gold. We've got our 4 stages: cue, craving, response, reward. Make it obvious, make it appealing, make it easy, make it satisfying. It's like hacking your own brain, you know? Speaking of hacking your brain, what else can we do to like create an environment for success?
This is where our environment comes into play big time. Clear is big on how much our surroundings shape our habits, even if we don't realize it. He uses this cool example about a cafeteria. They found that just by moving the food around, putting healthier stuff at eye level and easy to grab, people actually chose those options more often.
No way. So you're saying just the way things are set up can nudge us towards good or bad habits, and we don't even realize it.
That's right.
It's kind of wild if you think about it.
Right. Like, you want to read more. Put a book on your nightstand. Want to play guitar more. Don't keep it buried in a closet.
Make it easy on yourself.
Yeah.
I love that. It's like you're setting yourself up to win before you even begin. So it's like we're all designers in a way. But instead of buildings, we're designing our lives, you know, habit by habit. But it's not just our stuff, right? It's the people around us, too. Clear talks about that social influence thing, how we pick up habits from others.
Oh, for sure. It's like this unspoken force, you know? You see your friends doing something, suddenly it seems more doable. Or even more than that, if it's just the norm in a group you're part of.
It's true. If all the running buddies are training for a marathon, you're going to be way more likely to lace up your shoes and join them. We're a pack animals at heart, I guess. But even with the right people and the right environment, staying motivated, that's the trick, right?
Well, yeah, it's about finding that sweet spot, you know? Like, challenging enough to keep you interested, but not so much that you just want to quit. Clear calls it the Goldilocks rule.
Okay, the porridge thing.
Yeah.
Not too hot, not too cold.
Exactly.
Okay, I'm with you. But how do we find that sweet spot? Hit me with some real-life examples.
All right, so say you're learning guitar. You try to jump right into, like, some crazy solo. You're going to get frustrated.
Yeah, been there.
But just practicing scales all day, boring. The key is finding songs that are a little outside your comfort zone. Challenging, but not impossible.
That's like those levels in a video game. Got to keep leveling up to stay hooked.
Exactly. And that goes for anything. You're trying to write every day. Don't start with a whole book, maybe just a paragraph, then work your way up.
Small wins to keep you going, right? It reminds me of Steve Martin, the comedian. He talks about how he'd work on his act by adding like one new bit at a time. He kept the jokes he knew worked, but always threw in something fresh.
There you go. He found that balance, kept getting better without burning out.
Okay, so we've covered a lot here. 4 stages of habits, our environment, the people around us, how to stay motivated. But let's be real, we're not perfect. We fall off track. What about those times? How do we get back on the wagon?
That's where reflection comes in. Clear's big on taking a step back, checking in with yourself and asking, are these habits still working for me?
Like a habit checkup.
Right. Are they still helping you get where you want to go?
I like that. It's like checking the map on a road trip. Making sure you're still headed in the right direction.
Exactly. And it's a lifelong journey, right? It's about creating a life you love, one good habit at a time.
One good habit. So it's those tiny changes, those little 1% improvements we talked about that really add up over time, like those small, consistent investments that build big over time.
Exactly. And at the end of the day, I think Clear makes a really important point. He says the secret to sticking with it is to actually fall in love with the process.
Whoa, now that's interesting. So it's not about like white-knuckling it to the finish line. It's about finding joy in the journey itself.
Right. If you can learn to enjoy those small wins, the daily practice, you're way more likely to stick with it for the long haul.
It's like those small wins become the reward in themselves. And over time, those small wins, they can lead to some pretty amazing changes. So as we wrap up our deep dive into atomic habits, let me leave you with this. What's one small thing, one tiny change you can make today to start building that life you really want?
You don't have to be perfect, just start.
Pick one thing, make it obvious, make it attractive, make it easy, make it satisfying, and trust the process.
Those little changes, they can change your life.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.